Paul Master. What we gotta watch, what we gotta watch, what we gotta watch. Paul Master. What we gotta watch, what we gotta watch, what we gotta watch. Paul Master. What we gotta watch, what we gotta watch, what we gotta watch. Paul Master. What we gotta watch, what we gotta watch, what we gotta watch. Paul Master. What we gotta watch, what we gotta watch. Yeah, buddy, that's right. Get exposure right now. Holler at the homie Paul Mash, man, for Paul Mash TV. Hit up Paul Mash TV across all social media sites, alright? Who we got next?
Well, hello there. It's Paul Mash TV time. Thanks for joining us, and the feedback, as always, has been phenomenal, and we appreciate your feedback. And as always, we'd love to hear from you, and there's a couple ways you can do that. But before I get into that, I just want to let you know the email address. I can't seem to log into it anymore, so we'll have to put the email address on hold for right now until I can figure out something else. But if you're on Facebook, just go to facebook.com/PaulMashTV, like the page, respond to the interviews in question, and send us an inbox. We'd love to hear from you there. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you could just click that subscribe button, hit the bell. You'll always get the latest interviews whenever they become available. So we hope that you'll do that for us, and you can even respond, obviously, to the interview in question on YouTube. And if you want, we can recap that for you at the end of the show. So get your pen and paper ready to write that down, and we'll see you then. Right now we have Steve and Diane Moore from the Cranberry Merchants, a very talented group. They're from Douglasville, Georgia, and I think you really like the group. So, and we'll get to that in just a second, but first, here's a word from Click Jam. Don't go away. Well, hello there. It's interview time again, and with us from Douglasville, Georgia, we have Steve and Diane Moore, also known as the Cranberry Merchants, and they're here with us today. So thanks for coming along, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no problem. I'm sure that you'll enjoy the interview here. The first question I'd like to ask, and obviously you can answer one at a time, but tell us a little bit about why you decided to become a musician. I mean, I'm sure that you decided at the same time. Maybe there's a story behind that. We'd love to hear it.
Well, actually, we both started playing music separately at first because Steve is from Indiana. I'm from Maryland, so we grew up in different parts of the country. I started playing drums and keyboards as a teenager, but then went to college at the Art Institute of Atlanta, which is where Steve and I met each other. Mm-hmm. And so our common interest in music is what brought us together.
Yeah, I'd started playing as a teenager too. I'm a little bit older than Diane is, so our musical tastes run a little bit different. I'm more of a classic rock guy. She's more of an 80s music kind of girl, and we, I guess, get our sound from kind of meeting in the middle. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, tell us a little bit about your influences or the bands that you grew up with that kind of influenced you in your musical style. I mean, I'm sure you have a few that stand out in your mind.
Oh, yeah. Me growing up, I was a teen in like late 70s, early 80s, so I bring a lot of the classic rock kind of the four food groups, if you will, where it's like Rolling Stones, Beatles, The Who, Led Zeppelin, that kind of thing. My brother's record collection going to help me along on all that. And that's what I bring to the table.
Yeah, and since I was a teenager in the 80s, I grew up listening to a lot of like 80s new wave stuff like Duran Duran, Depeche Mode, Tears for Fears, that type of thing. But, you know, also a lot of like the hair band kind of, metal, Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, that type of thing.
Yeah, of course they were pretty good bands back in the 80s. I remember a lot of those. Why don't you tell us about like your albums and stuff? Do you have any albums, or at least have something you could download on digital format? Maybe you could talk about that.
Well, right now, as the Cranberry Merchants, we've actually only got one release because we've only been kind of this version of the band since the fall. But in January, we released an EP that's called In the Blood. And it's got 5 tracks on it. It's available on iTunes, Amazon, pretty much any of the streaming services.
Okay. All right, we'll be looking forward to that. Tell us a little bit about the song we're getting ready to watch. Is there the name of the song and what it's about? I'm sure there's a story behind that too.
Oh, absolutely. The song is called The Black Mariah.
Mm-hmm.
It is about the world's first motion picture studio. In the 1890s, Thomas Edison had built a really funky looking building at his laboratory in West Orange, New Jersey. It was called the Black Mariah. They called it, it was kind of a weird barn looking thing that was covered in tar paper, and it was a great big building set on a Lazy Susan, so it could turn and rotate. They could open the roof up and make use of natural sunlight to film the performers in there. They basically got all the vaudeville acts of the day. I mean, there were acrobats, there were sharpshooters, there were boxers, there was cat boxing, of all things. There were all kinds of whatever weird kind of vaudeville acts of the day or traveling shows were going through. They would do motion studies with all these different things. We thought it was a really interesting subject matter for a song, and it just seemed to fit the piece of music that we did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that I'm sure that I of course saw the video earlier, and it's a pretty good song, and I'm sure everybody there will like to watch that too. And we'll get to that in a minute or so. But we just want to thank you again for being on the show, and we'd love to have you back sometime if you ever ain't got anything to plug.
Fabulous.
We would love to.
Sounds great.
All right, here's Black Mariah right here on Pomash TV. Don't go away.
The first motion picture studio ever set up in the world was in the yard of my laboratory at West Orange. The building revolved to follow the sun. We dubbed it the Black Mariah.